let's talk about how God calls people, right? When God calls you, he calls you as you are, right? God will always call you as you are, right? But when he calls you as you are, his intention is not for you to stay as you are. Many people, when God called them, he expects them to grow. When I was a child, I thought like a child. But now that I'm an adult, I put all childish ways aside, right? So when God calls you, you cannot be the same. You have to grow. That's why before you got saved, you will pray some prayers. It comes to pass immediately. And as you walk with God long term, you find out that he's not answering prayers quicker because he wants you to trust him. He wants to build relationship with you, right? So when God calls you, but the problem is we want God to call us and we stay the same. And when God calls you, he wants to qualify you for what he called you. Okay? In order to walk this walk with God, you have to come as you are, number one. But you cannot stay as you are. Yeah. God expects you to grow. He expects you to understand his voice and know his laws, his rules and regulations. And he also expects you to not do certain things that will bring embarrassment to the purpose in which he has called you to. That's why he puts a lot of pastors through consecration so they can tame their sexual desires so they do not fall into sexual scandals. Okay? But many people don't like to go through the training process of God, right? God has a process for all his pastors, right? You have to go through purification, cleansing, deliverance, right? And then he can trust you with the assignment that he has called you to. So that way it doesn't bring any sorrow to you or reproach. Because when you start preaching and getting people out of darkness, demons are looking for loopholes to shut you down. So when you go out there in the world to preach, you better be living a clean life. You better not have no loose ends, because demons and spirits don't care for English. They weigh you in the spirit realm. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, rulers of darkness and wickedness in high places. Right? So it tells you that your battles is not against people. It's against the spirit operating in those people, right? So you as somebody that's trying to go out for the kingdom of God, you have to be purified, sanctified, and solid in things that God has called you to do. You cannot be walking in lukewarmness. You cannot be fussing. You cannot be playing with sexual sin. You can't cast a demon out if you're playing with sin. It doesn't work. Your life have to be pure. That's why a lot of times there's not enough deliverance ministers to call out a spirit, because that spirit won't leave because that person is not living right. So that's why God called certain people to certain offices, because they have come. So you need to know your stuff. Okay? You have to wear the full armor of God before you get into the battlefield. All right? You have to wear the full armor of God. Like, I'm a woman that God sends on assignments daily. And sometimes when I go tell those people what God said, they retaliate against me. It's not them retaliating. It's that spirit that's been exposed. And demons don't like to be exposed. So what they do is they partner up with a person's character. If that person struggles with pride, that spirit has been exposed would tell them, you're too good to go get help. You're too good for this stuff. And that person would just hate you because you know something, but they don't even know why they hate you. That demon just don't want them to get help. So you got to be very